The AFL has ended its investigation into allegations of historic racism at the Hawthorn Football Club, with no adverse findings made against Alastair Clarkson, Chris Fagan or Jason Burt, who had all maintained their innocence throughout the process. AFL boss Gil McLachlan said last night the league could still, though, take action against Hawthorn, which may include the club being fined or stripped of draft picks.
There is a resolution where the defendants have been cleared of breaching the AFL rules in an agreement with the complainants and endorsed by the independent panel chairman. We also have complainants who endorse the process and feel heard through it. And I think in the end, from where we were, I feel as difficult and imperfect as it is, it's a situation that actually has brought this thing to a head.
Hawthorn opened up its external cultural review in April last year following allegations that Indigenous former players were told to live separately from their families. One player and his partner allegedly told to terminate a pregnancy. 6 months later, the AFL announced an independent 4-person panel would investigate that and other allegations. Last month, Alastair Clarkson stepped away from football indefinitely after the mental and physical strain of the probe. 6 days after that, Hawthorn chief Justin Reeves did the same. Well, let's bring in Holly Edwards-Smith now from AFL House in Melbourne. Holly, so the case is far from over. There's one part of it done, but it may well continue.
Well, Pete, that's right. So the independent panel that was set up by the AFL has now been terminated and their investigations will cease. As part of this resolution, the AFL has come to the conclusion with the 6 complainants that legal action can now no longer be taken to the AFL, but the same cannot be said for the 3 men who have been caught up in these accusations. That includes the current Brisbane Lions senior coach Chris Fagan, the former North Melbourne senior coach Alastair Clarkson and Hawthorn's former welfare manager Jason Burt. So as part of this, these 6 complainants could still take up legal action against them, despite this resolution last night showing no adverse findings against them. Now, this could come in the form of traditional legal action through the court system or even a human rights commission. Now, the 3 men who have been embroiled in this saga have always pled their innocence, saying that the allegations against them were false, but they have been relatively quiet in the public sphere. Last night, however, Chris Fagan did release quite a comprehensive statement. In that, he says he feels vindicated by the response from the AFL and the outcome of this investigation announced last night. He says he has always respected Indigenous and First Nations players and would continue to do so. He says it has been a hard time on both himself and his family. He says he is also conscious that this farce of a process cannot have been easy on the First Nations people who were complainants in it. Now, as part of this investigation and the outcome announced last night, AFL CEO Gil McLachlan did say, though, he is aware that there is racism and has been racism both on and off the field in the AFL system, and it's something that the organisation will continue to work through.
The AFL knows that during the long history of our game there have been instances of racism and that players have been marginalised, hurt or discriminated against because of their race. And for that we say sorry.
And Pete, far from over this morning as well, we are expecting to hear from the Hawthorn Football Club later this morning with their full response to the announcement last night. I
see the president speaking there at 10:30 this morning, not too far away. We'll carry that for you.